Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. In police news, 4 persons are in police custody following an operation carried out by the officers from the Nevis Division, the Special Services Unit SSU, and the Regional Security Service RSS, along with soldiers from the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force SKNDF on Sunday, December 9th, in which an illegal firearm was seized. During the operation, a 38mm revolver with several rounds of ammunition was found on the premises of a home in the Wallins area here in Nevis. The items, along with 4 individuals from the home, were taken into police custody. So far, 37 firearms have been seized for 2018. Still in police news. Police received a report of a shooting incident in Newtown, St. Kitts at about 9 p.m. on Sunday, December 9th. According to the press release, upon arrival, they met technicians with the emergency medical service attending to 33-year-old Kevis Riley of Lower Carty Alley. Thus far, preliminary investigations have revealed that Riley was walking along Shepherd Street in Newtown when he was approached from behind by 2 armed unknown assailants who opened fire at him. Riley was shot several times about the body and was transported to the JNF hospital, where he is listed as being in a stable condition. Police are making an appeal to anyone who might have any information in relation to this incident to call the Violent Crimes Unit VCU at 467-1887. Based on reports reaching the VON Newsline, 54 earthquakes were recorded to the north of St. Kitts and Nevis. According to the University of the West Indies UWI Seismic Research Center in Trinidad, the quakes occurred between December 6th and 7th, 2018. Fortunately, no injuries or casualties were recorded. Moreover, in the wake of the seismic activities, we contacted the Nevis Disaster Management Department, NDMD, and spoke with the director, Mr. Brian Dyer.
While there is no cause for alarm at this time, the Disaster Management Fraternity still encourage persons to be vigilant and to know the response actions in the event of a major occurrence. The drop cover and hold, and then you look for persons who may be injured and you evacuate to safe height in the event of tsunami being generated. Those are the steps that we continue to hear. The UV Seismic continues to monitor the situation and will provide updates as required.
Director of the NDMD, Mr. Brian Dyer. The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season was the 3rd in a consecutive series of damaging Atlantic hurricane seasons featuring 15 named storms, 8 hurricanes and 2 major hurricanes, as well as a total of $33.3 billion in damages. The season officially began on Friday, June 1st and ended on Friday, November 30th. The VON Newsline held an interview with the director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, NDMD, Brian Dyer, who gave a further insight about the season.
The hurricane season turned out to be an above average year, even though the Category 5 hurricanes did not materialize as in 2017. There were a number of factors that affected the hurricane activity for 2018. On record, 2017 was the hottest year on record with regards to temperatures being recorded, and that resulted in the extremely active hurricane season. With regards to 2018, the temperatures in the Atlantic took a long time to get above the 26.5 degrees Celsius that is required for hurricane formation. And also the latter part of the season, the El Nino phenomena started developing, so that affected some of the activity in the Atlantic. However, the number of storms that show that we had a slightly above average year.
Mr. Brian Dyer. In more national news.
During this fiscal year, my administration took the decision to reduce government spending and incentivize the private sector to be the engine of growth for the continuation of growth and expansion of the economy. This policy will continue into the new year.
That's Premier of Nevis and Minister of Finance, Honorable Mark Brantley. He was at the time presenting the 2019 Nevis Island Administration's NIA budget on December 5, 2018, which was held under the theme Harnessing the Synergies of Innovation and Entrepreneurship while Increasing Global Competitiveness to Achieve Our Socio-Economic Goals. Subsequent to the announcement that the 2019 budget is free of taxes, Premier Brantley, however, said that his administration will enforce the collection of taxes.
We will, however, Mr. President, aggressively enforce the collection of existing taxes that are due to the government. We will continue to streamline our policy for tax concessions and limit exemptions from the various taxes only to areas as prescribed in the various legislation or when necessary to be used as a short-term sacrifice in exchange for the long-term benefit of increases in business activities. I wish to assure the public that we will not be reckless in our spending and we will seek to access funding at low cost in accordance with our debt management strategy.
The Honorable Mark Brantley. Smokey Robinson, Davido, Popcorn, and French Montana are on the list of artists who will be performing at the 2019 St. Kitts Music Festival. Earlier this year, Chairman of the Music Festival Committee, Damien Hobson, promised that the full slate of artists for the June 26th to 30th Music Festival will be released before the end of January 2019. In addition, instead of hosting the event at the Warner Park Stadium, the festival will be held at the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium in Bird Rock. Reports say the price will remain at $135 EC for 2019. 40 emergency medical technicians, EMTs, from St. Kitts and Nevis have benefited from an Emergency Medical Services EMS refresher course. The government-funded workshop was conducted by the Global Medical Education Training GMET organization based in Washington, D.C. GMET is an organization of dedicated professionals with the experience, dedication, commitment, and expertise needed to assist communities, companies, organizations, and institutions with their emergency healthcare training and educational needs. The course provided the EMTs updated information on topics such as basic patient assessment, CPR, and medical procedures. The course format entailed a new teaching mechanism called Flipping the Classroom, where the participants are engaged in hands-on activities as opposed to listening to lectures. Medical Chief Staff Dr. Cameron Wilkinson said that continuing medical education was something that is germane now to the practice of medicine. He added that the refresher course is very timely as the Christmas and Carnival season approaches. The St. Kitts and Nevis National Commission for Universal Health Care, SKNNCUHC, will host its final Town Hall-styled public consultation tonight, Monday, December 10th, at the St. Peter's Community Center on St. Kitts. Over the past 4 weeks, members of the Commission have met with residents and citizens in their respective communities to share information on the proposed coverage outlined in the Green Paper of the Universal Healthcare for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Coordinator of the Universal Healthcare Secretariat, Clifford Griffin, said that the consultations have been quite useful as the Commission members were able to clear up a number of issues. He said that some of the more common questions relate to benefit and financing options, as well as implications for persons who already have private insurance. Meantime, the engagement with employee groups and other stakeholders will continue. This week, meetings have been scheduled with the staff of the Ministries of Finance, National Security, Agriculture, and Office of the Prime Minister, among others. The Green Paper for Universal Healthcare for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is available online at sknis.kn. While public servants here in St. Kitts and Nevis will be receiving a double salary this month, government, auxiliary, or non-established workers will not be left behind. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris, announced last week that these employees will receive a holiday pay.
We have decided to restore and pay the annual December holiday pay to the government auxiliary employees or non-establishment workers on December 14th this year.
Prime Minister Harris said that the payment of the holiday pay was stopped by the previous administration. Hence, the Team Unity administration had decided to reinstate the payment and was working to have the matter finalized.
Last year we said that we would correct this injustice inflicted on our non-establishment workers as we work to make them a part of the pensionable establishment. In this regard, my government has engaged a well-known actuary to advise us on this matter.
Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris. Police here in Nevis are investigating an incident in which has left a resident of Montpelier nursing gunshot wounds at the Alexandra Hospital. Reports are that Carlisle King Bingi Pemberton was shot by an unknown assailant or assailants in front of his home on Friday night. The incident is reported to have taken place at about 10:45 p.m. And in more police news, 24-year-old Shaquem Cranston of College Street, St. Kitts, received 2 sentences of 8 years, 5 months and 10 days in prison. On October 16, 2018, Cranston was convicted for the offenses of unlawful possession of firearm and unlawful possession of ammunition. The sentences will run concurrently. And finally, the High Command of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has reactivated the crime hotline 707 to make it easy for citizens and residents to share information with the police. To report crime and criminal or suspicious activity, persons can now call the crime hotline by dialing 707, but for emergencies or for immediate assistance, persons should still dial 911. Subsequent to the reactivation, Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Hilroy Brandy, said that the police was already receiving tremendous support from the public. He attributed the success of the police in several criminal matters to information received from concerned citizens and residents. A strict protocol for the hotline has been established, and Mr. Brandy is assuring the public that all information shared will be confidential. He explained that only senior police officers are allowed to engage callers, and persons who use the hotline do not have to disclose their identity. Moreover, the phone is located in an area where only certain officers will have access to it. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on our Facebook at VON Radio and our VON Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It really is. Come and let the Bank of Nevis Limited improve your quality of life this Christmas. Take an unsecured loan of up to $20,000.
Ho, 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 ho.
That's not all. Take advantage of our flexible loan term options. It's Christmas and it's time to be merry. Contact us today at 1-869-469-5564 or Facebook, Instagram, or visit our bank today. It's the Bank of Nevis Limited, wishing you Merry Christmas!
Season of
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Out of Jamaica, Reggae superstar Buju Banton is back in Jamaica after spending almost 8 years behind bars in the United States on cocaine charges. Dressed in a white long-sleeve sweater, a pair of jeans, boots, and wearing a tam that covered his locks, a tall, strapping Buju landed at the Norman Manley International Airport Saturday night after being released from the McRae Correctional Facility in Atlanta, Georgia, hours earlier, a day earlier than scheduled. Photos circulating on social media showed airport employees taking photos of and with the Grammy-winning artist who already has several performances lined up. Some fans shouted to him as he passed by, but many more who had been waiting in front of the airport to see him were left disappointed as he was reportedly taken out through another exit to a police facility to be processed. Buju, whose real name is Mark Myring, was found guilty of intent to deal more than 5 kilograms of cocaine and given a mandatory 10-year sentence in February 2011. He was initially scheduled to be released in 2019, but the date was subsequently changed to December 8th. The United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agency says several Caribbean nationals were among 105 foreign nationals taken into custody during a 5-day operation in New Jersey. On Friday, ICE said they arrested 4 from Jamaica, 2 from Cuba, 10 from the Dominican Republic, and 1 from Trinidad and Tobago. The Immigration Enforcement Agency said the age of the immigrants ranged from 18 to 65 and that most were previously convicted of a variety of offenses. Some of the convictions included sexual assault on a minor, child abuse, possession of narcotics, distribution of narcotics, extortion, driving under the influence DUI, fraud, domestic violence, theft, possession of a weapon, robbery, promoting prostitution, aggravated assault, resisting arrest, endangering the welfare of a child, credit card fraud, insurance fraud, shoplifting, and illegal re-entry. ICE said the operation, which was spearheaded by its Enforcement and Removal Operations (ERO), targeted at large criminal aliens, illegal re-entrants, and other immigration violators, and was supported by ICE's Homeland Security Investigations (HSI) and U.S. Customs and Border Protection's CBP New Jersey Field Office. And finally, out of Trinidad. The Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean ECLAC, sub-regional headquarters for the Caribbean, has taken steps recently to advance its Debt for Climate Adaptation (SWAP) initiative. A mission led by Deputy Director Dr. Dillon Eline met with senior government officials and policymakers in Antigua and Barbuda and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines to discuss progress and to build support for the initiative. ECLAC has long argued that the high debt burden and debt servicing cost of many Caribbean economies have continued to constrain the ability of governments to meaningfully confront their difficult challenges. The Caribbean's debt dilemma, it is argued, should not be viewed simply as a result of policy missteps. Rather, it should be more considered a consequence of the increased expenditures required to address the impact of extreme climate events such as hurricanes as well as negative shocks. ECLAC advances its debt swap proposal as a strategy that the Caribbean can assist economies in with financing, adaptation and mitigation projects and in jump-starting economic growth while at once easing the burden of debt. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Theresa May is the call of Tuesday's crucial vote on her Brexit deal in the face of what was expected to be a significant defeat by Tory rebels. Government sources have said the Prime Minister is set to tell MPs about the delay in a statement today. Downing Street had been insisting the vote would go ahead. More in this report.
Until now, Theresa May has been adamant that she would press ahead with a key vote on her version of Brexit. But several ministers were warning her she faced a large defeat from MPs across the political divide. Rather than risk the possibility that she might be forced to resign, she's now decided to delay putting her deal to Parliament. Instead, she'll be hoping she can wring more concessions out of the EU to appease her critics, especially those in her own party. EU leaders in Brussels, however, seem unlikely to make any major changes.
Anti-Semitism is getting worse and Jews are increasingly worried about the risk of harassment, according to a major survey of 12 EU countries. Hundreds of Jews questioned by the EU's Fundamental Rights Agency said they had experienced a physical anti-Semitic attack in the past year, while 28% said they had been harassed. France is identified as having the biggest problem with anti-Semitism. Germany, the UK, Belgium, Sweden, and the Netherlands also saw incidents. Egypt is investigating a video which appears to show a Danish couple scaling the Great Pyramid and posing naked. The alleged incident has sparked outrage in the conservative Muslim country. Prosecutors will explore whether the video is real, and if so, how they were able to climb the 140-meter-tall structure, state-run newspaper Al Aram reports. Officials had initially suggested the footage might be fake. The Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as Khufu or Cheops, is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Finally, a UN conference in Morocco has adopted an agreement on how to manage the movement of migrants around the world. Some countries have opposed the accord. About 150 heads of state are at the gathering. Alan Johnston reports.
Supporters of this agreement call it a roadmap to prevent suffering and chaos, a way to discourage illegal border crossings and ensure better treatment of migrants. The UN has sought to allay concerns about the accord, saying it's merely a non-binding framework for international cooperation. But some states that take a harder line on migration pulled out of the process that led to the deal, the US, Australia and Hungary among them. The Americans argued the agreement would threaten the sovereign rights of nations.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next. Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In basketball, the Chicago Bulls suffered their worst ever defeat with a 133-77 loss to the Boston Celtics. Guard Jaylen Brown came off the bench to score 23 points in what was the Celtics' biggest margin of victory in franchise history. Celtics forward Daniel Theis made his first start of the season and delivered a career-high 22 points and 10 rebounds. The Bulls' 56-point margin to defeat surpassed that of the 53 they fell to at Minnesota in November 2001, and victory for the Celtics eclipsed their 51-point win over the Philadelphia Warriors in 1962. Victory also meant the Celtics stretched their winning streak to 5 games. In cricket, India clinched a dramatic 31-run victory in the first test against Australia to claim only their 6th test win down under. The home side, chasing 323 for victory, resumed day 5 in Adelaide on 104 for 4. They fell to 187 for 7 after Sean March and Tim Payne were dismissed, but with Nathan Lyon making 38, the lower order gave Australia hope. They had reached 291 when last man Josh Hazelwood was caught off spinner Ravichandran Ashwin. It is India's first victory in a Test series opener in Australia and their first Test win in the country since 2008. The next match of the 4 Test series will start in Perth on Friday. Summarized score: Australia 235 and 291, Marsh 60, Shami 3 for 65, Bumrah 3 for 68, Ashwin 3 for 92, India 250 and 307, Pujara 71, Rahane 70, Leon 6 for 122. India won by 31 runs. In NFL football, New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has broken the record for the most touchdown passes in NFL history. The 41-year-old eclipsed Peyton Manning's mark of 579, moving to 582 with 3 touchdown passes during a 34-33 defeat by the Miami Dolphins. Brady, a 5-time Super Bowl winner, broke the record with a 2-yard pass to wide receiver Julian Edelman in the first quarter. The record includes touchdowns thrown in the regular season and postseason. Manning remains the NFL's regular season leader with 539. Brady holds the records for most games won by a quarterback, 232, and most Super Bowl appearances, 8. And finally, the St. Thomas's Primary School emerged champion of the Department of Sports Primary School Football Championship. In the final played on Friday at the E.T. Willett Park, they beat the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School 2-1. This is their 2nd consecutive championship. That's it for sports. The General Weather Forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Weather tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Winds are east at 15 to 26 kilometers per hour or 8 to 14 knots. Seas are 1.5 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers should exercise caution. Sunrise tomorrow would be at 6:30 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, 10th December 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, police seized 37th illegal firearm, 4 persons taken into custody, and 54 earthquakes recorded near St. Kitts. Regionally, Buju Banton back in Jamaica following early release from prison. Internationally, UK Prime Minister will delay crucial Brexit vote. And in sports, Bulls suffer worst defeat as Celtics makes franchise history. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashon Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.
Vibrates. The whole Caribbean must shake.
8:60 a.m. The Powerhouse.
It is now 6:30 in the Eastern Caribbean. Good evening to one and all out there in Radioland. Today is Monday, the 10th day of December, 2018. I am Melissa Martin. I'll be keeping you company this evening.
buns, boy. I want to knock something. I have to knock something tonight. What that spoon? Oh yeah.
National Bank announces its insane vehicle loan offer. Drive off in style with your brand new vehicle. Rates as low as 5.5% per annum. Financing up to 7 years. This is a limited time offer, so make your appointment today. No deposit, no problem. That day, we got you covered. It's the National Bank insane vehicle loan offer. Terms and conditions apply.
The time is here once again for love, laughter, togetherness, and peace. It is said by many that Christmas is the most favorable time of the year. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority thank all Nevisians for the upkeep of their surroundings in all communities and continue to keep Nevis clean. Remember, the time to clean our beautiful island begins with individual action for collective clean communities. Happy holidays to all from the management and staff of the Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority.
During this season of giving, let us take time to slow down and enjoy the simple things. May this wonderful time of the year touch your heart in a special way. The Nevis Historical and Conservation Society wish all its partners, stakeholders, members, visitors and